Let's talk. You want to speak about it? Let's speak. We're going to spread this encouragement from the church to the street. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. And they talk about nothing but the unseen and unspoken issues while providing encouragement and love and understanding. She talks about issues that people in high places and influences are afraid to discuss publicly. Stay tuned. It's about to get real live. And you're tuned in to the Lekeisha Mosley Show.
Greetings, everyone. Happy Monday to you. I'm excited about tonight's show, tonight's podcast. This is Lekeisha Mosley and featuring the Lekeisha Mosley Show. And I'm so excited about tonight because, you know what? I'm living, I'm breathing, I have my well-being, and I believe in God. I believe in what He's doing in my life. It's exciting. I believe in that. And I hope you do too. I hope at the end of this podcast episode that you will have a newfound respect for what God is doing because He's always doing something new. Always going to doing something definitely inventive in this prior, season, with this pandemic and with the current state. Listen, you can stay behind if you want to, but I encourage you to move forward in what God has for you. New partnerships, new collaborations, trying to get the word out, new ventures, new seasons with, your path ahead and what's going on. If you're not noticing, I'm telling you, it's happening now. So definitely stay tuned. Be on alert of what God is truly doing. I'm excited because God is truly doing something awesome. Listen, if you open your ear, I'm going to just say, if you open your ear and stay in tune of what God is doing, He's going to show you something new. He's going to show you something that you didn't even see before. Show you something that you may have saw before and you thought that was old. God is going to reinvent His eye in your realm, in your season. Right now, He's going to show you something that you can package up, you can reinvent, and you can begin again with what you currently have. And you don't have to do any work. You just have to believe and say yes to the new inventive part of you. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I hope you hear this excitement in my voice because God is truly doing something amazing. And I'm excited about just what we're about to discuss tonight. So this episode, first I'm going to tell you what we're doing. If you're just now tuning in, this is called the Weekly Reflection. Weekly Reflections, where each week I'm talking about pretty much what has went on in my week. I hope you're doing the same thing, writing those things down that went on this week, things that you want to change, things that you want to continue again, things that you saw and you felt like, hey, I want to keep that or I don't want to keep that. You made a decision. Listen, you pretty much made a decision if you like it or not. And then you begin to understand really what's in your realm of viewpoint. And then you make, you know what? Something is going on here. God, what are you doing? God is always doing something good. If you just open it up and just say, yes, God, I'll receive whatever it is. I don't see what's going on. I don't see what's going to happen. You're just being open to receive just what God is doing new in your life. So I'm excited. So we're going to talk about this week. That's what happened to me because it was definitely a change. Definitely a change. Let's say it again. Definitely a change. Where I wasn't ready for, but at the same time, I'm excited about what God is doing because even if I'm not ready for it, whatever He's doing, it's always going to be good. It's always going to be good. And I always say it's my favorite quote and it's very powerful. Everything works out for me. I'm going to say it again. Everything works out for me. So whatever quote that you have been saying for many years and you're encouraged by and you feel very calm and very reassured within your path ahead, listen, say that quote. Wake up in the morning and, and say it. Write it down. Write it before you to where it's a repeated method in your path where you're always speaking something positive. You're always thinking something that brings you joy. And you're always pretty much reminding yourself just how good God is. So we're going to go ahead and get into what happened to me this week. I'm so excited. So we're going to talk about what happened, and we're going to talk about if I wanted to change it. We're going to talk about if I want to keep it, and we're also going to talk about if I'm inspired to do something different, if I see something different that I saw this week. So this week we're going to talk about how raising the norm, changing the normal chatter of the pandemic. Do you relate? You might can relate because the chatter with the pandemic is pretty much the same. Oh my God, we're in the house. Oh my goodness, we're wearing this mask. Oh my God, yeah, right? It's starting to become like, yeah. So if it hasn't become that, I'm just letting you know for me, it is becoming yeah. Man, I'm wearing this mask. I have to be 6 feet, 10 feet, depending on your comfort. You have to do something different that you didn't have to do before. 2020 has truly done something different within our lives. We have to protect our kids. We got to protect each other. We have to realign ourselves to make sure that we are falling in the line, with, security, for our well-being. We want to make sure we live. I'm going to say it again. We want to make sure we live, on this earth, and we're not passing away too soon. So with that being said, that is what definitely what's been happening in the normal chatter. So I want us to take a different reflection, a different outlook on what is happening. So hearing the outside of the norm, really hearing something different in the norm. Can you relate that you have been receiving something different? So I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I've been receiving something different. I've been understanding that we have to, make sure we be safe. CDC tells us to do that, right? But at the same time, just receiving different outlooks on different procedures in my past, different ways I do things have been very, very positive for me, right? It's something that I haven't looked at before. So I'm going to tell you about what I haven't looked at before. I hope you can relate. If you relate to something new that you haven't looked at before, make sure you raise your hand, stump your feet, write down what you haven't looked at before. So, number one, I have a newfound respect for my elders, for my mentors, for the people who have shown me a way of living that I didn't see before. I'm going to say it again. Someone that has shown me a way of living that I didn't see before. You remember how you had those teachers, right, that pretty much taught you pretty much the standard education, right? Taught you how to read, write, taught you how to just really understand how to say certain things a certain way. Pretty much your speech showed you how to write things down, showed you how to really see, what you're doing, having some clarity, So with that being said, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm always transparent on my show. I remember growing up, I was listening to my teachers. I really was. No lie. I was listening to my teachers. I was kind of listening. I probably was listening to the way they really endorsed, persuaded us, encouraged us to do. But I was kind of listening. My eyes were opening, and I was like listening enough for me to pass my class. I'm be honest with you. English, science, writing, all of those things. I was listening enough for me to pass my class. Well, when God really showed me just what I'm supposed to do in life, because I'm an author, right? I love to write. Like I said, I love to speak and I love to write. with that being said, one thing, in my writing, I realized it needed to increase because I had to not only just write, my writing and put it in a book format, but I had to pretty much tell a story. And I love telling the story, right? Having the scope of a story. But I had to make sure my reader, let me say it again, I had to make sure my reader was with me on the journey of my passages that I was writing down. If I'm telling my reader, listen, I'm going down the street, I had to pretty much describe to my reader, listen, okay, you're going down the street, trying to speak, going down the street, right? Okay, so you're going down the street. Is it warm outside? Is it cold outside? What is the climate? What do you want your reader to see when you're going outside, going down the street? Do you want your reader to understand that something impactful happens down the street? Did you cross the street? Were you in a certain climate, in a certain state where, the seasons, don't really change so much, or they just stay the same? I had to be in detailed, character with my writing. It's so much so where I had to make sure I wrote those things down. I had to write those things down. So not only does, that I, am expressing in expressing just my viewpoint with, my writing at that time, but I had to make sure that my reader was taking, the journey with me. When I look at it that way, it is really profound. It really is awesome. It really is great to look at. But when you look at the past, I really wasn't paying too much attention, with all of that, because I just had somebody else come in, look at my writing, and just make sure everything was good to go. And be real honest with you, I had just someone who was able to read everything that I was trying to say, and pretty much bring it back to me. And now I had to pretty much say yay or nay. Is that what you're trying to say? And so much so, wow, I had to become that person. I had to become that person where I was not, just not, showing something that was not sure of me. I was expressing myself the way that I wanted to express myself, and it was matching what the reader would read because I was pretty much bringing clarity on the paper. That's deep. So pretty much I was my own proof, reader at that time. I was my own, person that was making sure that my English was correct, my, way that I was doing was correct, and pretty much I was pretty much on the same page with everyone that was reading my document. That is deep. Now, mind you, if somebody might be listening that's a seasoned, writer as well, so they're like, Keisha, we do that. I'm like, I know we do that, but at the same time, I usually would have somebody else do that where I will pretty much go on to something else. Mind you, in this pandemic, it was very important for me to understand that, segment, in my writing to make sure that I was clear and I was bringing clarity to the reader. So with that being said, pretty much my mentor at that time was pretty much able to show me, hey, Keisha, this manuscript is really awesome. At the same time, if you reread this, I know you understand what it needs to say. But if you just read it again, if you add a couple of things in your manuscript, you wouldn't have to give it to somebody else to proofread. You can do it yourself. In other words, it will be a clear manuscript, and then someone else can be able to do something different, for you because you're already doing it. You're already doing it. You already know what to say, how to say it. You're already making sure that the writing, is totally aligned with what you need, where you can pretty much cross that off the list because it's already done. So with that being said, I hope that made sense to someone because that made sense to me. So I totally, all of my, it's so funny, all of my, some of my teachers that I truly love, they listen to my podcast. And I know they're jumping up for joy. They're like, wow, Keisha, are you serious? You're doing what? I'm like, yeah, I'm actually revisiting some of the things that you guys used to teach me, you know, where it meant something to me. It meant something to me enough for me to get an amazing grade. But at the same time, I have newfound respect for you guys, you know, and what you were teaching me. You know, I wasn't an English teacher. I wasn't a science teacher. I wasn't, you know, someone who, you know, was great at those things. But your teaching, you know, truly has a new effect of me now. So I'm able to look at something very, very, you know, very different now. And I'm able to take those keys, those tools, you know, those gems with me, and I'm able to have an impact, you know, not only just in my writing and not only just in, you know, how I'm viewing things, but I'm able to bring clarity, you know, not only just to myself, but you bring clarity to my audience. So that was big for me. So I'm going to ask you that question. What this week, or, you know, within the last few weeks has changed, you know, in your perspective, you know, with life today? You know, are you viewing things different to where, you know, you may not have looked at it that way before, but you're looking at it in a different way now, and you're able to pretty much, you know, level up and begin something on a different path, and you're able to have a newfound respect for your mentors, for your teachers, for the people that have been guiding you throughout your way moving forward. That's what happens to me, and I can take that to the bank now. I feel so secure and comfortable to understand that. You know, I love how, remember I always say, there is no failure. Those are perceived failures. A lot of times, you know, we look at things, we want to, you know, cast them out and bring judgment to it. But no, that's nothing but God telling you, hey, I want you to look at something different with me. I want to show you something that you may not have looked at this way before. But if you look at it now and you see something different, you could take that gem and you could begin to teach differently. I'm going to say it again. You could begin to teach something differently in your path. That was big for me. That was big for me because anything that I have, you know, within me, if I have something of education, of understanding, you know, definitely as a speaker and as a coach and as a mentor, you know, I'm able to do that, you know, for my life, and I'm able to show someone else how to do it too, you know, moving forward. You know, definitely understanding how I can always level up. I can always level up and understand just really the new things that are good for me moving forward. Listen, more clarity that you do receive, the more clarity that you do receive is truly resourceful for you. Let me tell you why. Because people are listening. I'm going to say it again. People are listening, and they're looking at your change, and they're looking at, you know, just how you have been an impact for them. They're looking at you like they may look at you now, and they're looking at you like, wow, you are different. You are different. You're not the same Keisha. You're not the same Lisa. You're not the same Tammy that you used to be. But the way I'm looking at you now, wow, I want to know something different, you know, about myself too. And you're encouraging somebody else to do something different and to receive just another layer of amazingness for your life. It's so great to look at that way of life, you know. So with that being said, I love it because that reflection, definitely I want to keep. I want to keep that reflection just, to where I'm able to level up. The fact is, if you are teachable, again, one more time, if you are teachable, if you are someone that can be teachable, someone that can receive critical, critical outlook on life, someone that can be something different and can receive something different. It's not so much as it being a bad thing for you, but at the same time, it's something that's going to bless you. And when you get in the area of your life where you're able to receive, from your mistakes, your failures, from your hiccups, all of those things, if you're able to receive, moving forward, you can do that. You can begin to teach somebody else how that has truly been a blessing for you. The moment, every time you're able to, teach somebody something different and, understanding life and how it can be a blessing, others will definitely want to partner with somebody like that. Others will always want to partner with someone like that because you're, okay, like let's just say in the past, you were someone that did not receive criticism or changes in your past. Sometimes you go like, oh man, I can do anything. I like what I'm doing and I don't want to change it. Then it's like you pretty much close the door. You pretty much close the door on something new to happen in your life. So therefore, you're kind of labeled as somebody hard to work with. You're labeled as someone who really does not receive something of growth for you. So with that being said, a lot of times, that can close the door for new resources, income, promotion, increase, something new, something that someone believes that you're ready for. But at the same time, if you're not showing that you can, learn from anything, they can't really help you because you're not able to be a person of, of change. A lot of times change is different. This pandemic is very different right here. You're having to, do something different. And you're having to do it for, because it's like life or death. So you really have a choice. You really do have a choice. I always tell you, you have a choice to do anything. It may not be a wise choice, but you have a choice to do anything. So, the choice is always yours. It can mean an extreme difference in your path, in your partners and collaborations. Things stay the same when you don't change. Let me say it again. Things stay the same when you don't, change. Be open to changing, your life. So the problem with that is you're not able to be led. Every person needs to be able to be led. Even if it's just putting a smile on your face, being encouraged to be a helping hand, being encouraged to, sow a seed to someone, whatever it is, it is a choice. All of us have those choices. And all of us have those opportunities where we can receive something different. So it really is our, choice to receive the guidance, because you never know what it's going to do. I'm just going to be honest with you. You never know what it's going to do. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but that very same, thing that you're doing can make so many changes for your future. You may see something 3 years later, and someone will say, wow, I remember, just how you were being such a blessing. And they will show, some kindness in your past, and they can, endorse you and show, someone else just how nice you was. And it's like, that can make a big change and make big difference. Somebody can, begin to, vouch for you and say, hey, this person right here will be definitely good for the job. And then you'll find out, that could be an income change. Someone will just throw, some type of endorsement for you, and because you were nice to them three years ago, you were just nice. You began to share, some type of resource that meant something, to them, and they didn't tell you about it until years later. And then you look back and say, wow, I just received some favor here. So in this favor, this had to come from somewhere. Yeah, it came from that person that you were just so nice to, that you truly changed their world. And they began to, show someone just how good you were. So with that being said, it's so important for us to always be nice all the time, always be encouraging all the time, always being a person of happiness. A person of happiness. You never know. Your smile, your encouragement might be the only thing they receive in that time. So the choices that you have made has truly changed someone's life. And that is truly, truly good. So I'm just saying, it's really, really good to be thankful for your mentors. That's what we're talking about. Being thankful to your leadership, the people that come in your path, because, you're looking at them and you're like, wow, I totally value you now. I'm totally thanking God for you now. So with that being said, because you're thanking God for them and you change your mindset and your respect level for them, you're not just seeing them who they were, but you're seeing them who they are to you now. Those people are truly, truly, put in your life for a reason. You never know what nuggets of, clarity and success are tied to others that are supposed to be there to bless you and encourage you and be, just a wealth of clarity for you. I don't take it for granted anymore. I don't take things like that for granted. I thank God for every win, every opportunity for me to grow. I just thank God for it, because you just never know what that's going to do. I hope that encouraged somebody out there today. You never know what that encouragement or just your reflection that you have experienced this week has changed someone's life. Truly, truly, it changed mine. So having clarity in the mind and understanding, that is truly, truly awesome for us to understand just how valuable we are, and to understand that, listen, if we feel worthy, if we feel definitely powerful and full of love, it does go far. It truly, truly does go far. So don't take it for granted. It is for you today. God truly wants you to have clarity in your mind and to understand how worthy you are, to understand just how impactful you are. And if you need a refresher, it's okay. Take all of those gems that you had before and begin to rehearse them over and over again in your life for you to continue to be encouraged. Because listen, you're needed. Everything that you're doing truly, truly is a blessing. All your mentors, all of them are resourceful. Definitely, I'm telling you, this week it was definitely an impact, because for me to take all that information and education that I received back in the day, it truly, truly means something to me now. I'm able to take that brand new, resource of information and really bless somebody else with it. Because somebody's always watching. Somebody's always watching to see if you're real, the real deal. If you're a real person, if you're really nice, if you're really full of joy, If you're authentic, someone is always looking to bless you. Someone's always looking at you to see if you can buy in on their projects and creation and all the things that they have moving forward. Someone's always looking to buy in on what you have. So always be in tune. Always be with clarity and understanding just how good you really are. It's truly, truly amazing for all of us too. So my craft, honestly, as an author, as a speaker, as an influencer, has really been an amazing path. Because like I said, I love to write, I love to speak. So I'm always focused on that. I'm always focused on, just what it happens to me in my path moving forward. So pretty much I've been sharpening my tools this week. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I'm always looking at, my gifts, but at the same time, I realize I have to level up. I have to really stay in tune with what God is doing, making sure that, like I said, my writings are good, making sure that I'm in a position where I'm able to perform for others. So many people are calling for me, to continue to be a part of their conferences. So in that respect, I'm pulling out all my information, all the information that I've learned for many years. And I began to pretty much, like I said, iron, having my iron and sharpening my iron and just making sure that I'm ready. Listen, God told us to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. Always be ready. Pretty much keep practicing, your speech. Keep practicing, your verbiage. Keep practicing if you're responding a certain way. If I'm pretty much performing in a certain way. Do they understand what I'm saying? Do they understand that it's wet outside? Do they understand that it's cold outside? Do they understand how it's dry outside? Did I make it clear? I'm going to say it again. Did I make it clear? It's up to me to make sure I write it down and make it clear because it's my manuscript, right? It's my manuscript. So whatever makes you feel comfortable, it's truly up to you to make sure that you are providing a performance that is well above, for everybody to pay attention to because you are valued. You truly are valued. And because you are valued, God wants you to always be clear. God wants you to take all those gifts and talents that is within you to make sure you continue to sharpen your sword. Always continue to make sure nothing's getting rusty, nothing's getting, dull, to make sure that everything you're doing is always ready and on point. And for God to already, know that you're ready. Listen, when somebody call you and say, hey, do you have an opportunity to be, in this conference? Do you have an opportunity to be in this, speech? Are you able to talk to the children today about, well-being and about self-respect and just whatever it is? If you're ready, listen, bring it on. Don't be in a position where you're not ready because then you're set in place and you're feeling like, man, oh my goodness, I wasn't ready for that. I did not have my resources together. I did not have, listen, I'm going to say my Cash App. I did not have my PayPal up to date. I did not have, your websites up to date. I'm going to say this. So it's so funny. This is real talk. For some reason, I had some issues with my cell phone. Had some issues, so it was not acting right. So I had to put a pause on some things until it began to act right, and it's still kind of like not functioning correct. So I had to make some adjustments in order for me to continue doing what I needed to do. So with that being said, I had to make some adjustments to make sure that I was able to, get what I needed to get done until that was fixed. So I had to make sure, others who will contact me, were clear to understand, hey, these are not working the way I wanted to work. So I had to make sure I had some plans in place just in case, in order for me to be able to, move forward, and continue on, even with the hiccup. I was able to work within that hiccup. The hiccup wasn't going to stop me, not me, because I'm ready. I'm prepared. I'm ready to, leap with, with no issues. I'm able to walk forward with confidence because I started to make sure that my whole path or things that I had were lined up because I was ready to function within the ways that I needed to function, and I didn't let the hiccup stop me. I hope that blessed somebody because sometimes hiccups happen. Sometimes hiccups do happen where you can't change it at that moment. But at the same time, it is okay to make sure others and the people that are connected to you, and the people, the business partners and the connections that you have are up to par and they're up to date on what's going on. And it only blesses you when you're, letting people know that you have to do a different path. That's respect. I'm going to say that again. That is respect because you're pretty much dotting, your I's and crossing your T's. You're being honest and transparent. Listen, things are not the way I want it to be, so because of that, everything, is working clearly because you're making sure, everything is going to work clearly for you in your path. I'm so excited about that. So that's my reflection this week. So I'm excited. I understand that, and I'm inspired to keep on with that, making sure that I have all types of things that I can work through in order to make sure that I can continue to be, an influence and move forward in my life to where it doesn't change anything, doesn't change my grind. I'm able to have an amazing life and an amazing area where I can just do anything and be anything. Hey, I'm still confident because I had to take a detour. Hey, sometimes in life we take a detour. Anybody else understand that? We have to take a detour. And it's like, hey, things like that happen. So you're able to be empowered to understand just how good God is because God always gives us a way for us to understand those detours and be able to be an impact and be able to understand that sometimes change happens. Sometimes you have to, take the change and run with it. But because you understand that change happens, you can teach others for them to understand change and be able to be an impact, within life moving forward because it happens. So now you have a resource. You have, opportunity to change somebody's life because you never know what that resource may mean something, for somebody. So I just thank God for my mentors, the people that are in my life and the people that truly have educated me, on how to really take life, with an amazing attitude to do something with it and continue on. I take their lives. I take everything they did. And let's say I take those nuggets and I begin to operate in my life for others to be able to be impactful to moving forward to do something different, to be able to have resources and be able to have, an outcome that's going to be a blessing. So I just hope that inspires you today. I mean, I'm just so excited because, God is so good and God is not done. Listen, when God does something, God does it right. He does it and he just asks you, listen, just be ready. I need you to be ready, my daughter. I need you to be ready, my son, because he's ready to bless you. And he has definitely resources for you. So long as you have everything set in place to receive, listen, there's nothing to stop you. Nothing ever going to stop you moving forward. So the scripture that we're going to focus on this tonight's episode is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. And we're going to talk about something that everybody knows. And I'm so thankful for this passage of scripture. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Hey, it changed my life. I love that scripture because that's telling you right there. Listen, if you train up a child, if you train up, anyone that's in your life, it could be your child, it could be somebody that you are, covering over, somebody that, inspires you, somebody that you just look at as somebody that you can, impact in their life. Listen, do that because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It may not change. They might not change their life tomorrow, but you never know. 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And just like me, I'm just giving an example to you. I have a change in my life, and that has changed my life. And I totally love it, and I'm thanking God for it because you never know. It may hit you later. It may hit you, like I just said, 20, 30 years later. And it changes that person's life and changed my life, at that moment. It gives me so much power, and I'm so confident. I just thank God for that confidence because God is so good. God is there for you, and God truly wants you to be impacted, within your life, wants you to have an impact on your life, and wants you to understand just how good He is for you. And God truly wants you to understand, really what He's doing. He's not done. He's not done. He's always on time, and He's just ready for you to be ready because He's always going to be throwing you things, resources for you to engage in. And I'm so excited about that because I'm with you. God is doing some great things, and He's not holding back. Listen, all you got to do is stay in tune and be ready. Everybody say be ready. Be ready. Be ready for the change because God is changing all of our lives moving forward. So I'm so excited. This is the Truth Podcast. I'm so thankful for that. So we got the amazing Jerry Royce live, and we have Kenny Kim that's going to be showing us an amazing special guest and going to be showing us something, that we need to know because, God is truly doing something in all of our lives. So we're going to be having an amazing, amazing episode. I want to make sure you understand. Make sure you go on pray.com and make sure you see my episodes on pray.com and make sure you be encouraged to go on Spreaker Radio and on iTunes and go on Spotify and go on we have so many great things. We are actually live as well. Go on Amazon Music. We have so many things going on. And we're also on, we're on Periscope. We have Twitter Live. We have so many things going on. And make sure you meet us on every week because we have so many things going on. And definitely want to make sure you research us. I believe it's going to be it's on at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. No, it depends on where you are in the world. So just make sure you stay focused on the lineups that we have. And it's going to be so awesome for you to stay in tune on that because we have so many great, great opportunities for God to get the glory and God to get the praise. And I'm so excited. You have to stay in tune because God is doing so many great things. God is truly, truly doing something different. So I just love God. I love God, what He is doing. He's truly doing something amazing. He's truly changing our lives moving forward. I'm so excited. You got to stay tuned with us all, and you have to make sure that you're on point in what God is doing because God is truly showing Himself, really, really amazing in our lives and showing just really how good He is. So I'm telling you, God is doing something different. God is doing something new. Make sure you stay in tune with what God is doing. And I'm so encouraged what God is doing in Positive Power, XXI. I'm so excited. Make sure you reach us on Comcast, Atlanta, and DeKalb County, Georgia. And make sure you stay in tune with that because we are there each week. So excited about it. Have a good night, and I love you so much. Make sure you stay tuned with me next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Lekeisha Mosley Show. Be blessed, everyone. Love you so much.
You want to talk about it? Let's talk. You want to speak about it? Let's speak. We're going to spread this encouragement from the church to the street. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. And they talk about nothing but the unseen.